Newton's first law, or law of inertia, states that an object will always remain at their own state of motion unless an external force is acted upon it. We will use a game of badminton to demonstrate this law. In this demonstration, the object at their own state of motion is the birdie, and the force that is going to interrupt it is the force of the player hitting the birdie with the racket. To start the game, one player serves the birdie. The player is holding the birdie, which is at rest. However, when the player throws up the birdie to serve, the birdie state of motion changes. The unbalanced force is the person throwing it up. The birdie goes from rest to being tossed up in the air. Then the birdie state of motion changes again when two players hit the birdie back and forth, which is changing directions. The birdie travels back and forth on its own constant state of motion until one of the players smashes the birdie. The player smashes the birdie, which interrupts the birdie's constant motion and forces it to go straight to the ground. The ground, which is the unbalanced force, causes the birdie to stop its motion. This process demonstrates Newton's first law because an object changes its state of motion, going in a constant rate back and forth to rest. A force acts upon it, and an unbalanced force causes the object to stop its state of motion.
Newton's third law states that for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. The first object in this demonstration will be the average tennis ball, and the wall over here will be acting as the second object. As I throw the ball towards the wall like this, the ball will continue traveling in the same direction until it makes contact with the wall, in which it bounces back. The action happening here is exactly as described in Newton's third law, as the force of the first object, the ball, hitting the wall is the action, and the force of the wall exerting all of this force back is the equal and opposite reaction of the law.
This is why games like tennis are able to be played as each player exerts an equal and opposite force onto the ball, which sends it towards the other player, which can then use the racket to hit the ball and cause Newton's third law to once again show. This is constantly repeated until one player fails to hit the ball. To conclude, the ball thrown to the wall as well as tennis are both ways in which Newton's third law can be demonstrated as the every action of the ball which has an equal and opposite reaction.